Hi, Emily.
Hi, I'm Ami.
Welcome to the other realm. The Wood Dragon year 2024 and what the energies are. Health, wealth, career, love, and spirituality.
So first thing to understand is that the wood dragon is part of what we call a destructive cycle.
Okay.
So because the wood is sitting on a dragon and the dragon is an earth element. So in Chinese metaphysics, the wood actually controls the dragon. So therefore it's not a harmonious and supportive like relationship. The year of like the young wood dragon is going to be one whereby there is likely to be more challenges as well as discordant energies and also like obvious conflict and confrontation. So in terms of health, there are some things that you want to sort of like look out for because the wood actually represents our liver. The liver itself controls a lot of our emotion of anger. So some people may actually find that when you're under a lot of stress, you become more easily agitated and angry, which obviously is bad for your health. With the wood in a destructive cycle, parts of your body that is related to fire becomes problematic. So these are actually crucial parts like your heart.
Yeah.
Your blood,
Yeah.
your eyes, So therefore, if you already have an existing issues with these aspects of your health, then next year you really want to take note of it. So people who have issues may also be prone to actually things like headaches or mental illness and disorders. Okay? So therefore, it's important actually to support the wood-like element. So supporting the wood element, what supports the wood element? Water element. So water element would include things like taking plenty of like electrolytes and also supplements like omega-3. Yeah. So I think in terms of like wealth, the main thing to be careful about is that because it is a destructive cycle, and as I said, the young wood actually governs like the head, right? So you have to actually guard against irrational thoughts and sort of like spending. Okay. So when there is a discordant energy like that, it means that you may have a tendency to go against your money, spending on things that you shouldn't be spending on.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, or you are like missing out on opportunities that you should be seizing, but you're missing it out because you're overthinking. The young wood is always about moving forward and like growing upwards and everything. Some people may find that their ego actually gets like triggered. Yeah, so when your ego gets triggered, you may actually lose like opportunities that you should be sort of like seizing because you're unwilling to do certain things and it's not rational at all.
Go on Shopee. Then you buy this particular product thinking that it's wonderful, it's perfect, and you've measured out everything. Then when it comes, it just feels completely different and you've just wasted $200 of your money.
Yes, and you can't refund it because
Yes, and when you try to refund it, you're not allowed.
yeah, because there's technically nothing wrong with
Yeah.
the product. It's
Yeah.
just not what you expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one. So be careful of that.
Yeah. If you're in business or in certain industries, you will find that one way to increase like your wealth is to look at whether you can have investments in this particular industries. So because it's a wood and like a earth like year, both these industries actually are likely to do well. So we are actually in the industry of earth because we're in the spirituality, wellness and education industry. So these industries together with property, which is represented by earth, high-tech software are all going to be prospering in 2024. Okay? Wood industries like media, like fashion, these are also likely to be growing and to be doing well next year. So and also because of the discordant energies, wellness industries to help people to reduce stress, feel better about themselves, and all are also likely to be doing well. So if you are considering increasing your wealth, you can actually consider, do you want to invest in like in businesses in such industries, or maybe purchase like stocks and shares.
What about career?
Okay, so for career, the natural discordance between the wood and actually the earth dragon makes it very easy to have conflict actually with your bosses and with authority and all. So for people who are employed, you do want to make sure that you're cultivating good relationships with your bosses and make sure that you're not miscommunicating. If you yourself are a boss, then you may want to exhibit more compassion and kindness, but without allowing your employees to take advantage of you. It might be actually a good idea to look carefully at what the needs of like your clients are,
okay.
so that there are no like miscommunication. And for people running your own businesses, it's important to pay attention to the legal aspects. So if you're signing any contracts or like any sort of invoicing, quotations and everything, make sure that especially if the relationship with your client or your vendor is not a solid one, you want to take more care.
Now we will move on to
Romance
everybody's favorite
and love.
topic, love.
Yes. So what happens is that because the wood dragon is very rigid, okay? So if you are looking for love, you want to be very careful that you are not setting your expectations so high and so rigidly that there is no room for you to be able to attract and navigate a relationship with somebody.
Yes, and so there's no such thing as the perfect Korean boyfriend or girlfriend. That is a movie or a dream.
Yes. And secondly, if you're already in like a relationship or like a marriage, then what you want to pay attention to communication and maintenance of relationship, and also whether you are consistently engaging your partner. Okay, because it's in a destructive cycle, it can cause people to overthink. You know, so for example, let's say you and your partner, you're actually working late because like the work is like really busy because you have had challenges with your clients.
Okay.
But if your client happens to be a very good-looking person,
Uh-oh.
then maybe your partner is going to start to feel insecure because they're overthinking things, and then so
And then it quarrels.
yeah, so therefore it is actually a good idea to communicate and engage more. And one good way is also to try to show more appreciation for your partner.
Quick one, is it a good year to give birth? Because people always want dragon babies for some reason.
Okay, so actually, the Wood Dragon year is a year where there is supposed to be a lot of creativity and growth.
Okay.
So it is actually quite a fertile year.
Okay.
Like a birth rate is technically supposed to go up.
Okay.
Okay, but because of the amount of sort of children that's going to be born in this year, and also because the dragon is seen as a celestial animal, which means they are not on this earth, right? There's actually a lot of pressure.
Okay.
Yeah. So for example, I myself, I'm a dragon baby.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that in my year, actually, there is a lot of pressure. And while I am one of the lucky ones that have managed to kind of met with the challenges and being able to evolve and grow well, I have actually seen a lot of my fellow dragon friends who have not done so well.
What's available in the spiritual realm of dragons?
It's actually an extremely spiritual year
Yeah.
because it allows us to be able to connect with heavenly energies, okay? Which means that if you are working on your spirituality and healing and sort of your own psychic abilities, this is actually a good year to not just discover but also to develop them. In the process of development, you're likely to meet with more challenges than normal, and also you have to be very careful about your spiritual ego actually coming up, and also about misinterpreting or kind of being delusional about certain things that about your spirituality. It is actually a good idea during this year to look at the community the spiritual community that you are in, okay? Because the destructive cycle to a certain extent allows you to be able to cull discordant elements. So for example, if there's somebody in your community that you feel no longer aligned with you, the dragon year would be the right time to nicely or not nicely ask them to leave. In 2023, because it's an in-water rabbit, a lot of that negativity or resentment or anger and everything can stay very hidden. But when it comes to the wood dragon year, it's like people cannot hide anymore.
It will all
The
surface.
conflict will all come to the surface, you
Yeah.
know? So this is actually just a very general sort of prediction. Okay? If you want more details, you can actually visit the the Lumiere website where we have a free resource which gives you a little bit more details on what's going to happen in the Young Wood Dragon light year. However, if you feel you need a personalized report, then what you can actually do is to get ready your birth date, your birth time, your full name, and your gender, and then pay Eileen to create a personalized report for you.
So you can book and I will create a personalized report for you based on these 5 things that we mentioned, which is health, wealth, career, spirituality and love.
Because of the discordant energies, which is not just around you but actually all everywhere in the world, be very careful when you're traveling. Avoid sort of like places that you feel might actually present like real danger. Just be more aware of what your surroundings and how they are actually impacting you,
Yes.
so that you can actually deal with situations and issues as soon as they arise.
Yeah, so be aware but don't over worry, because when you over
Yes.
worry, you attract more negative things.
That's true.
Yes,
Okay.
so good luck to everybody in the Wood Dragon year. We'll see you on the other realm again.
Bye.